Hello and welcome to Kits and Wagers. We're talking what? FA Cup fourth round? Yep, we're not talking Premier League. We're mixing it up. But guess what? We're still talking Premier League teams, but in the FA Cup. Chris, welcome in the show. Look at it outside. You're in the mountains last week. Now I'm seeing green. I see a tree. Maybe the sun is out. What's going on?
Adam, good to chat with you again. I'm back in the burbs, back in Seattle here. It is, in fact, I mean, they call it the Evergreen State for a reason. It is almost always green in some capacity, likely due to the amount of precipitation. It is not sunny. It is quite overcast, cloudy, kind of like one of those days where you might make a couple cups of tea, have a cup of soup later, relax. The couch has got my name on it later. But yeah, otherwise doing well. And happy to for our listeners, love the listeners, giving them a little bonus round here with the FA Cup. I think this is our first round that we've touched on. We are in the fourth round of the FA Cup. So looking forward to chatting about a couple of the Premier League teams that are involved in games, and then just we have the one EPL match this weekend. Aside from all of that, I am sitting here in my living room, and I got the RotoWire FC quarter zip, a classic here, quite comfy, has a little pouch pocket, pretty underrated facet of this particular quarter zip. And then back home, so I got a new scarf. And if you're watching on YouTube here, got to support my hometown club, which is Forward Madison FC, the Flamingos. Great time to, if you ever make it to the Midwest.
Why are you the Flamingos?
I'm not on their branding team. The branding team.
Wait, Madison, Wisconsin Flamingos? What's going on?
The Forward Madison Flamingos. Oh man, I'm not going to go too in depth here on the podcast, but we'll have to teach the rest of y'all about Forward Madison FC. But if you ever find yourself in the area in the summertime, it's a great activity. Just go up there. They got I think I would highly recommend you spend the extra. I think tickets are like $25 to $30, but you can go and get the all you can drink, all you can eat for like $50. Well worth it. You're sitting up, they're good games. They're professional athletes, usually pretty spirited, and would highly recommend going to a game. And I've always loved it, and I try to make a point of going to those games when I'm back home visiting family.
It's a great rec. I've been to a Detroit City FC game. I don't know if I can give it the same recommendation just based off of the level of soccer they play. I don't know if it's the same division as Forward Madison, but you mentioned they're professional athletes, but it didn't seem like professional athletes when I actually watched one of those matches. But
I mean, it's USL. I'm not sure. Is Detroit City? I don't know if that's
well,
a USL team.
I don't think they're. Yeah, I think there might have been.
Might be like MPSL or something like that.
Yeah, USL is the second division, right?
Yeah, they're in USL League One. I believe there's two leagues, and then there's US like I think is there the championship division where so I mean like they'll play like the Orlando City B team, North Texas, which is like I think a shoot off of the Houston's
Dynamo
MLS team. So 2 seasons ago, I believe they were the affiliate for the Minnesota United.
Okay.
So they would like send them down to get some match time and play down here. So I saw a couple MLS players at one point, but decent competition, fun to watch, great in the summertime.
So they are legit. All right. Yeah, so I'm instead of going to the USL ranks, I'm going to the championship ranks. If you're watching on YouTube, I got Hull City right here. So unfortunately, Hull City are no longer in the FA Cup, but we will be talking about the team they just lost to. So third round, Everton needed stoppage time to beat Hull City. But as I was diving into Hull City history, I thought it was interesting. So the last time they're in the Premier League, I think this was 5 years ago, they had on their back line Andrew Robertson and Harry Maguire, and they got relegated.
Class.
For some reason, I don't remember this. Maybe because like Maguire and Robertson were children back then, so it's not as memorable. But do you remember those two guys being on the same team and then being relegated?
In the back when they were in the Premier League?
Yeah. This was the last time Hull City was
because that was like that was. I mean, I don't remember Harry Maguire playing for Hull City at that time, but I remember Andy Robertson. That might have been. Was it 20? Did you say the year 2017, 2018?
Yeah, might have been 2016, 17, but yeah,
That
around
was that
there.
was right when I was getting in the RotoWire engine room, and I remember seeing Andy Robertson having some pretty high like numbers, like in a small amount of playing time. He had high crossing numbers, was kind of making his way in there, and then Liverpool bottom that season, I believe. So that's kind of like he looked like a mediocre, bottom of the playing for a bottom of the table team, and then Liverpool bought him for like pretty cheap, and the rest is kind of history. But yeah, I don't remember Harry Maguire at all playing for Hull City.
Yeah, I pulled up the wiki page and they list four managers of that season. So if if anything says relegation, it's using four managers in one season. But so what we're gonna do, fourth round FA Cup, instead of talking about teams we don't really know as much about in the championship. We could talk about it. We could talk about some of these things. Like we could talk about West Ham going against Kidderminster, who are, I think, like the fifth or sixth division of English football. But we're going to stick with the three matches that are only for Premier League teams. So it'll be teams are familiar talking about. I should say this is also going to be maybe the hardest show we've had this season to project, just because we don't know how these managers are going to look at their starting 11s. We don't know how much they're going to put in the FA Cup. So, because even though it's off the international break, like some teams have 7 matches in February, 7 matches in like the matter of 20 days. So these teams still have a lot of matches. They'll be playing midweek Premier League next week. So it's not like they're playing this weekend and then they're off for a week. Like they have back to back to back. They're going to be gone, tons of matches. So we don't know who's starting. That's kind of what it comes down to. We'll mention that
There's a lot of layers.
yeah. There's a lot of layers. We'll mention that. Uh, we'll try and dissect what each manager will do when we go through these matches. But the first one we're going to start with is if you're watching on YouTube, I got our depth chart page up because unfortunately we do not have odds for these FA Cup matches on the site. But this depth charts at RotoWire, we can still go by those. So Wolverhampton are home against Norwich. Wolverhampton are minus 160 to win. Norwich are plus 475. And the draw is plus 300. Over 2.5 goals, plus 105. Under 2.5 goals, minus 125. Before I give this to you here, I just want to say the three matches we're covering, they all have almost the exact same implied goal total, which kind of means that these odds makers don't really know what's going to happen, and they're just like, okay, we're gonna set the odds pretty much exactly at 2.5 goals because we don't know the lineups, and so I think that leads us to some value, to be honest. So first up, Wolves, decent home favorites here, going against Norwich, coming off back-to-back wins in the Premier League. What do we like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to focus on what we know about Wolves. The idea of like that we don't know what the lineup's going to happen. Well, we haven't, we've seen a couple different varieties of lineups from Wolverhampton this season, but the same result has kind of happened throughout, and that's the fact that they are going to maybe not score a lot of goals, and most importantly, they aren't going to let up a lot of goals in the Premier League. No team besides Manchester City has been better than Wolves defensively. They've given up 16 goals in a total of 21 matches. They've been really tight at the back. On the other side of that, they have just 19 goals in 21 matches. So every time they're involved in a game, it's low scoring, a lot of 1-0s, a lot of 0-0s. So for me, looking at what we're seeing with the over unders here, you can get a decent under 2.5 at minus 125. And I think that might be worthwhile. Otherwise, if you really think, Wolves are going to continue to play the way that they have, I think under 1.5 at plus 230 is a little bit riskier, but still, within play of what could actually happen, just given that they seem to be involved in a lot of 1-0 games.
Yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube, I pulled up the last time these teams played, November 27th. A surprising result here. It was scoreless. Uh, so Norwich are at home, 4 shots on goal. Wolves, 2 shots on goal. Wolves had an incredible 5 shots against Norwich, and I don't think Dean Smith was yet the manager, but I mean, either way, they got 5 shots against Norwich. That kind of, I mean, I think Wolves are maybe playing a little better than uh, offensively than that, but I will say I'm not sure what Raul Jimenez is going to be able to start here, and so he's coming off. He missed Wolves' last league match before the break with a calf issue. He missed Mexico's first 2 matches in the international break, and then out of nowhere he got healthy and went 90 minutes on Wednesday. So he
And
got a
scored a goal.
yeah, he got their I think they won 1-0. He got their PK late in that match.
Yep.
So they're probably not going to start Raul Jimenez and Fabio Silva. He's not really a guy that's getting it done. He's still, I don't know, he's probably 19 years old, but you're getting, I know it's minus 125, but like Wolves don't have their best striker. They maybe have the most consistent back line in the league. Like Romain Saiss probably wait, where's Saiss from? He's Moroccan, right? So actually Saiss might be available, but even if he's not, like they were still pretty solid when Saiss was playing in African Cup of Nations.
Mm.
So, like you look at that, and you look at sure Norwich winning some matches. Like I don't think Josh Sargent is getting another brace. Is kind of what I'm saying. Like it's not like Norwich are lighting up the scoreboard. Sure, they won 3-0 at Watford. They beat Everton 2-1, but I don't know how much to put into those matches. I think like Wolves minus 160, not great value. Like if you want to look at Wolves, you look at a shutout win. But if you're getting minus 125 on under 2.5 goals, you could even look at you could even look at under 1.5 goals just because we
Yeah.
saw the prior result for these teams. Like uh either way, like you probably don't want to touch the over in this match.
No. Like I said, Wolves are the second best team defensively in the Premier League. Norwich are the worst attacking side in the Premier League. They have 13 goals, 5 of which have come in their last 2 matches. So I just think anything over 2 goals is like not going to happen. Like I said, the under 1.5 and the under 2.5 is a pretty what seems like a pretty chalky play, and then under 1.5 is a little riskier, but you still feel the same, and you could even double up with like a straight up 1-0 score line.
Would you take, so it's the same odds, minus 125, under 2.5 goals is minus 125, and both teams to score no is also the same. So
Yeah,
would you take either side in that? Like you're getting the 1-0 win for either team basically.
yeah, I
I
think
guess
so.
I guess it's gonna win in both those. I guess the way you don't win the under is if it's like 3-0, like
Yeah,
Wolves. I just don't
yeah.
know if three Wolves are gonna get 3 goals. So
Yeah, no, I think I if you want to double up on that again there, that would be a pretty good play.
and even then, like this match could finish 1-1. So you also got the under 2.5 there, but
Yeah. An exact goal scored is Wolves 1 goal is 270 plus 270 on DraftKings. So just something to keep in mind.
Wolves 1-0 is plus 550. Exact win there.
So a couple good options there though. And I think you and I are both pretty much in the same wavelength there, where we think that Wolverhampton has a good opportunity to shut out Norwich and probably win by 1 goal here. But that's where I'm at on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really any reason to think anything else is going to happen. Like it's going to be a low scoring match, and there's no way around it. I don't think you can say the same about this next one. So Everton and Frank Lampard, I should say. Let's get that clear. Frank Lampard's Everton and newly minted assistant coach Ashley Cole, also a part of the team. I saw that this morning.
Really? Huh.
Yep. So we got Everton. Wait, let me read this again. Everton plus 105 to win. Brentford plus 265, and you got the draw at plus 260. Again, the totals are same. Over 2.5 goals plus 100, under 2.5 goals minus 125. I think it's pretty clear here. I'm going to be all over the over in this one. What actually, let me read out some injuries. So Calvert-Lewin's out. I guess that's any reason to take the under. Dele Alli, Van de Beek, they can't play because they already played with the other teams in the FA Cup. And I guess the thing for Brentford, while they're healthy, Thomas Frank tested positive for COVID, so their manager hasn't been coaching them this week. We don't know what that means. Maybe I don't, you could say that means something, but it's really hard to say. But what do you think? Do you like Frank Lampard in this spot?
I think Everton might get the new manager bump. Frank was always, kind of done. I don't know if I would say it was unjustly when he was at Chelsea, but I mean, I think he's a decent manager. We'll kind of find out if he can pull Everton back together. But it doesn't get much lower than where they're at now. He's got some good quality. I can't. They brought in one couple. I mean, Dele Alli, Donny Van de Beek. That gives them some more options. I'm curious to see how much they'll play like freshly coming off the international break. I don't think either. I know Ali was not. Dele wasn't involved with England, but I'm curious how much playing time they're ready for and if they can contribute. Brentford,
They won't be playing in this match.
Okay, they won't be.
Because
Okay,
they already played with Tottenham and Manchester United in the FA
oh,
Cup.
right. Okay. So yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's kind of the same side. Plus, we're missing Calvert-Lewin, so I think Brentford's got a shot here at least. But and as you pull up here, you've got the previous match that they played earlier in November. I'm really curious to see what Frank Lampard does with Everton. As I mentioned, it doesn't get any worse than what they're at now. So all they can do is go up. Interesting to see them as highly favored as they are, though.
That is true. I mean, it's plus 105, and I mean that last match, like just looking at the numbers here. This is November 28th. Brentford were at home. They won. They won 1-0. They were going against Solomon Rondon as the forward, Alex Iwobi as an attacking midfielder. I mean, sure the other guys look normal here, but I mean Everton 60% possession. Let's see where Brentford got a PK early in that match. Okay, I vaguely remember this, and then Everton were full go the rest of the way, 30 crosses, 5 shots on goal. But so the thing is, let me see here. So I'm started writing my article for next week, my betting preview for the Premier League, and I wanted to dive into some numbers. Let me pull them up. So Frank Lampard and Thomas Tuchel, they both managed the same amount of league matches last season for Chelsea. So 19 games under Tuchel, there are 2 goals per Chelsea match. So this is total. This isn't even 2 Chelsea goals per match. This is 2 goals total per Chelsea match. Under Tuchel, under Lampard in 19 games, 2.95 goals per league match. 1 more goal per match in under Lampard at Chelsea. I mean, obviously these aren't the same teams, but it just shows like Lampard, he's an attacking manager. Probably going to go to the 4-3-3. That's what he seemed to like at Chelsea. And it just seems like it's kind of like, I don't know, almost like the Eddie Howe effect at Newcastle. I mean, sure, hasn't really been worked out for a lot of the overs, but I think that's going to lead to goals in these matches. I don't know how much he likes playing defense, and that's why he was kind of booted from Chelsea. But just going back to their depth chart, they have Calvert-Lewin. He's not going to be playing. Doucouré's out, and they're not going to have their new signings. But otherwise, like you got a pretty full squad. Like you're going to see Richarlison probably playing at forward. You're going to see Allen. He may be ready to start. I want to say he's been playing with Brazil, but you got Townsend, Gray, Gordon's been playing well this season. Andre Gomez has been playing in the midfield, and their defense, outside of losing Dina, like they got the full squad. So I think on one end you could look at that plus 120, plus 105, or like if this is a 2-2 kind of match, and and Brentford really pushes for some goals, like I really like the over 2.5 goals because you're getting plus odds on it. And honestly, it doesn't make sense. It's just like they just put up these odds. It's like, yeah, we'll put up 2.5 implied total for all these, and we'll see what happens. But I really like the over in this one.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm personally just going to steer clear of the over on this match. I just don't know what's going to
That's a
happen.
big mistake.
It could be a big mistake, but if I don't make a bet, I can't lose on the bet. Unsure if Dominic Calvert-Lewin, like, is he out or is he not going to play?
He's out.
Fresh first match under a new manager. Have they had a chance in training to like kind of get to iron out some of the more tactical stuff? And then
Doesn't matter.
I'm not sure. So I mean, totally fair to think about the over. I'm just going to avoid it. I also like have no idea on these teams. Who's going to be ready. So I think I mean, they both have been in terms of form. Both teams have been terrible. In the last 6 matches, Everton has taken 4 points. They've lost 4, drawn 1 and won 1. While Brentford have taken 3 points. They've won 1 and then lost the 5 other matches over the past 6. So neither team in great form. That being said, it's two teams who I honestly, from a talent perspective, I think they're about on the same on par with each other. So all that said, you can get Brentford draw no bet. So if they win, it's at plus 155. They draw, you get your money back. If you want to get a little riskier, you can go the double chance, which is Brentford win or tie, and that's at minus 130. So right on the cusp of what we talked about is a smart bet. So I'm leaning Brentford here. I don't know what to expect on a short week where players have been gone for international duty. They're heading into the FA Cup. I don't know what kind of lineup Everton is going to send out there. So I think, of the teams, Brentford, that's where a little bit more value is for me.
I think of these 4 teams, I think Brentford might actually rotate more
Yeah.
between Everton, Wolves, and Norwich. I just think, uh, like I was looking at their match against, sure, it was against Port Vale, the previous FA Cup matchup, but I think they just have more options. Like Rico Henry's coming back from injury, and like they have a midfield where they've rotated fairly often because they've dealt with injuries. Like they have Wisa up front, and he's a reliable option. But I think as for Everton, like first match under Lampard, you don't think he's gonna put forward like all the guys he can actually start. Like this is his first match. Like he's gonna want 3 points. He's gonna want to win in his first match, even if it is the FA Cup match. I think
Yeah.
he's gonna want the win basically.
Yeah. I feel that too. I wouldn't be surprised to see him like shake up the line up a little bit, just considering, like, hey, your spot isn't secure. You're gonna have to earn it. So that being said, I mean, he's still got to put out Richarlison. He's got to put out, Allen, Andros Townsend, some of those guys. But I wouldn't be surprised to see like a couple different names that maybe haven't had the most amount of playing time come forward too. So we'll see. They also have, with that in mind, they have a big game on Tuesday, the following Tuesday. So that's what, 2 days rest, and then they got to face Newcastle on Tuesday, which is a short amount of rest for two teams who are pretty heavily involved in a relegation scrap right now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely under Lampard, I'd look to see what he does with his back line because the back
Yeah,
line has just been in flux pretty much. I don't know, for the last couple seasons. Like Everton just don't know what center backs, who their best center backs are, no matter the manager. Like they have, like Godfrey's played center back, but I guess now he's been playing more left back with Digne. But like they added Michaelenko, Patterson hasn't really found a role here with the senior team since coming over. But like John Joe Kenny had a recent start, and then you got Mina, Holgate, those guys at the central spot. But next match here. Let's move on. That's enough Frankie Lance talk here.
yeah.
So we got Tottenham and Antonio Conte. They're home going against Brighton. So minus 110 to win. Brighton are plus 320 to win. You got the draw at plus 260. And again, over 2.5 goals plus 100, under 2.5 goals minus 125. So the thing with Tottenham, we got Dele Alli gone and Ndombele gone, Lo Celso gone, Brian Gill gone. All those guys started their last FA Cup match, and so then they brought in Betancourt, they brought in Kulusevski. So they got some new guys. Song Min should be healthy again. Steven Bergwijn is coming off, the brace and mostly healthy. Romero's coming back from his injury. As for Brighton, they're set. They're similarly deep team, even though you wouldn't think it. But they lost Dan Burn to Newcastle, but otherwise, I guess they're not going to have McAllister. He tested positive for COVID, and I don't believe Mwepu is able to start. But Basuma is back from African Cup of Nations, and I think they're pretty healthy otherwise. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw strong starting 11s for both these teams. Like, this is going to be a pretty tight match, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. We talked about Tottenham and Chelsea a couple weeks ago, and we just talked about how Tottenham had been taking points from every game. Well, then they go ahead and lose to Chelsea. But yeah, I mean, Tottenham's strong side, they just let go of a lot of players, brought in a couple. So I'm interested to see how they integrate. Brighton, Graham Potter's just done an excellent job with them, and I think that of the teams here, they have a good enough chance to put up a fight. They play attractively. I think that Tottenham are probably going to be focused on a more of a defensive style with some counterattacks, and it'll be interesting to see where they start up front. But I could see Brighton have a little bit more of the ball here, and I honestly think, despite Tottenham playing at home, I feel a little just like from a game perspective that there's a little bit more value on Brighton here to win this, but that's just me.
Yeah, so these teams haven't played yet this season because they had a prior match postponed. Yeah, last December they had a match postponed. So over the next however many months, 4 months, they're going to be playing each other 3 times, and this is the first one for the season. Again, Conte's the manager, so it's hard to put anything in the prior matchups. So not going to really look at that, but I kind of like you're getting minus 110 for Tottenham to win. That's okay. Like they've actually been pretty good at home under Conte, and that's kind of what I'd lean on. I'd also look at the under because Brighton are a team that's kind of struggled to score all season. So if you want to look at that, you want to look at just Tottenham in general at home. Like they lost the recent league match, but if I'm just pulling up league matches at home, like 3-0 Crystal Palace, 2-2 Liverpool, 3-0, 2-0, 2-1, and they've been pretty good at home. And I think if they put in a strong starting 11, if Conte wants the win, which I'm sure he does, but like even if they go to their bench a little bit, it's not like who are they going to? Like at this point, their bench is going to Harry Kane's going to be starting. He starts every match, so he's going to be in there. But like if they go to their bench, it's going to be like Lucas Moura, Bergwijn. It's going to be the new guys they added. Like maybe Matt Doherty starts, and maybe people have ill thoughts towards him, but like he's still a Premier League player. Like Sessegnon, Tanganga, like those guys have seen minutes. It's not like they have bench guys who haven't played this season. So I just like Tottenham. I'd like them to win. The under, I'd be looking at minus 125, not the best odds. So my first look would just be Tottenham, even though I think it was the last show, maybe 1 or 2 shows, I mentioned that it seems like every time I bet against Brighton, they just get a stoppage time winner, and that's just how they play. But
it's the Zdroik curse. The Brighton curse. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Tottenham's got the more quality here, but I think I'm going to play devil's advocate and opt for Brighton in this particular instance. I think it's similar to like how I was feeling about Brentford. I just think a little bit more of the values there, and I believe if I could find it here, you can get the draw no bet for Brighton is what the heck was it? Plus 195. So if they win, you're plus 195. Draw, you get your money back. And then if you're thinking about that in terms of a double chance, that's also an option. And you can get Brighton at minus 105. So almost plus odds for a draw or a win for Brighton. They are playing away. So that's where my head is at. I just Tottenham. I'm not sure what to expect from them. A lot of new names in the team sheet, and Brighton have had a lot of good continuity, and they kind of like have an idea of how they want to play.
Yeah, so that's the 3 matches we wanted to talk about. And looking at, so I'm going to look through the odds here. Instead of just talking about one match, I just threw together a quick parlay, and let me get your thoughts on it. So, putting together here, Manchester United minus 290, West Ham minus 425, Man City minus 650, Liverpool minus 800. Take them all on the money line. You got plus 115 odds. What do we got?
That's United. United's facing like somebody unknown. I feel like
No, they're playing Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough. Either way, mid-table championship side. They should have no problem disposing of them. And you got City. Of those teams you mentioned, City has the toughest matchup, which is funny. They're facing Fulham, who are, fighting for their promotion back to the Premier League. Pretty good side this year. They're playing really good attacking wise. So that might be the toughest. That said, City are a much better team. They're like third 11 might be just as good as Fulham's. So yeah, that sounds like a good bet. And then you went, I believe it was Liverpool and
West
I don't
Ham.
know, West Ham, and West Ham's facing that like what Kidminster or something like that,
Yep,
which is like
Kidderminster.
they're on the whatever a few tiers down from the top flight, and then so yeah, I mean, and that gets you plus one something.
Yep, plus 115.
I mean, ride the favorites. I mean, I would love for a little upset here, get for the minnows to get an upset, but I think those are pretty safe bets for them to advance.
Yeah, just with these with the FA Cup, I think I've seen just in prior rounds or even just cup matches in general, like I've seen like once teams release their lineups and if it's like a pretty solid starting 11, like you're going to see these odds change pretty drastically. Like if Manchester United put out, a top side, which I mean, pretty much
You
all their
couldn't.
lineups are top side. Like it's going to be
They're
like
yeah.
minus 400 by the time the match kicks off. So
Yeah. Their top side can involve like 5 players from the starting 11 and like 3 kids making their debuts, or like who have like barely have under 10 caps for the first team. So, and that's probably still a top side.
yeah. Yeah, but plus 115. So yeah, I guess we can get into our best bets here. So FA Cup best bets, a little different than what we're used to, but going back to what I said earlier about I'm taking the Frank Lampard over. We got over 2.5 goals. You're getting plus 100 odds on it. Seems like a good idea to take a Frank Lampard over in his first match, going against what has been an inconsistent Brentford team this season. So the number here for Brentford, there's been at least 3 goals scored in each of their last 6 matches. That includes a 4-1 win at Port Vale, the last FA Cup match. So whether they're scoring goals or allowing goals, it seems like there's goals in their matches. And you throw that against a side that who knows how Thomas Frank and Brentford are going to be preparing for Frank Lampard. He got that in there. So I think there's going to be goals. So what do you got for your best bet?
Yeah, prior to our hopping on this podcast, I thought I had a solid one here, and as we've discussed a little bit more, I feel like I'm going to steer clear of it. I originally had Brighton double chance minus 105, which is the winner draw against Tottenham, but I'm going to steer clear of that. Tottenham, they've been pretty decent under Conte, but the one as we talked it over that made me feel more confident was the Wolves. I'm going to take Wolverhampton and Norwich under 2.5 goals. It's minus 125. So decent odds. Nothing crazy, but still like what feels like a pretty safe bet. Norwich have scored 13 goals this season. They're bad attacking, 5 of those in the past couple matches. And Wolves are just a really strong side defensively, not very good in attack. So I think that recipe of both those teams adds up to us, getting an under 2.5 at minus 125. And if you're feeling especially good about what we talked about on the show, you can go under 1.5 at plus 230. So I'm going to lock in that under 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, we said it before. It was like, there's really only one way this match is going to go. It's going to be low scoring. chances this doesn't hit is if it's 2-1, I guess, but I don't think it's going to be that kind of match. But I'd say if this was a Premier League match, the over under on this, I think under 2.5 goals would be minus 160, minus
Yeah,
170.
I agree.
Like that's kind of what the numbers have been in recent Wolves matches. And like now they're home against Norwich. Like they're just assuming like there's going to be some rotation and stuff like that. But Wolves aren't a deep team, so like who are they going to play really?
Yeah.
And if Jimenez doesn't start up front, like the odds just seem off. And I think, funny enough, more than Premier League, like there's just you can get better numbers here. Which maybe we should just start betting FA Cup only. I don't know. We'll see. But
let's make an FA Cup podcast. Oh wait.
All right. You got anything else here for fourth round FA Cup?
No, that's it. I'm looking forward to some good matches this weekend, and then we should probably be recording early next week for some midweek matches. So look for that.
Yeah, we will be probably doing Monday next week to discuss Premier League. Will be what, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So got a busy few days ahead of us. And if you follow us on Twitter, RotoWire Soccer on Twitter, we will have some bets up for the. We can't forget about Premier League. Okay, we'll say that there is Watford and Burnley playing Saturday, so we'll have some bets up on that Twitter page Saturday morning. So. If you need your fix of RotoWire soccer bets, we have you. We will put those up. But Chris, we got there we go. We got some outro music here.
Ooh, production quality is bumped.
Thanks to StreamYard for this wonderful music that we got to end the show. But so I've been at rotowire.com this whole time. If you're watching on YouTube, you can get a free 10-day trial, rotowire.com/soccer trial. If you have any questions, hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Zdroik. Chris is at CHR Owen8. And again, we have an email, soccer@rotowire.com. Email us with questions. We will get back to you. We will read those questions on the show, and we will give you winners on this show. Thanks for listening. This has been Kits and Wagers FA Cup edition. Chris, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.